All right, campers at Camp Terrorific, lights out was an hour ago, but if you are still awake, you might want to listen up because every camp has its stories. The drowned kid, the burned caretaker, the kid that no one talked to until it was too late. We are diving into the blood-splattered world of summer camp slashers. Killers in the wood, cursed counselors, and people that make it out alive, but at what cost? I am Brandy, otherwise known as the Terrorific Lady, and this is Retro Horror School Camp Terrorific Edition. So be sure to grab your bug spray, your flashlight, and whatever you do, don't be saying Madman Mars's name out loud. Want to give a quick shout out to all of my supporters out there. It means the world that I am able to talk horror movies with you, especially horror movies that have to do with summer camp. So let's dive right in. We have some summer camp movies that are definitely required viewing. First off, Friday the 13th, which came out in 1980, which is the quintessential summer camp slasher. This is the foundational movie, the horror that built the modern slasher rulebook and then flipped it on its head and redefined. There's abandoned cabins, there's bad decisions made by teenagers and young people. And then there is a grieving mother that makes Jason Voorhees himself look tame. This movie still hits and is the perfect example of a summer camp slasher and definitely required viewing because of its POV kills, creepy score, and the fact that in this movie, Jason isn't even the killer yet. You also have Pamela Voorhees, who is the main killer of this movie, and she is utterly terrifying. And it's one of those movies that sets the tone for isolation out in the middle of the woods, at camp, in cabins. It equals death. And so, what is the lesson that you can take away from this movie, campers? Being cut off from the world turns summer fun into a test for survival. Well, if Friday the 13th is the quintessential summer camp slasher that started it all, The Burning is like its nastier, grittier cousin. There is a caretaker of the camp, Cropsby, and he is the victim of a prank gone wrong. So you have a killer who has been burnt. He is bitter as hell, and he is hell-bent on revenge. The effects were all done by Tom Savini, and they're all very brutal. Now, some interesting things to watch out for in this movie, campers. That raft scene. And you're gonna know it when you see it. Also, watch out for young Jason Alexander. Yes, George from Seinfeld, but with hair. And there are no supernatural elements behind this, just pure human revenge and rage. So what is the lesson that you can take away from this movie, campers? A great slasher kill isn't just only gore. It is setup, timing, and payoff. A sleepaway camp. Now, this is the summer camp movie that is gonna make you squirm for all kinds of reasons. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's also unforgettable. And the final reveal of the killer is one that is definitely burned into horror history forever. Some things that you'll definitely want to watch out for in this movie, campers, are Angela's silence and the way that she is framed as both an outcast but also a mystery. And you've got that camp hierarchy. You got the bullies, you've got the jocks, you got the adults that really don't have a clue and have no idea what's going on. And definitely that ending. No spoilers, but if you know, you know. And what lesson can we take away from this movie, campers? That sometimes the real horror isn't even the killer, it's what we do to the people that we don't understand. We've also got some electives for summer camp extra credit. So here are some movies that are definitely worth the watch. The Final Girls is a very clever and self-aware love letter to 80s slasher. So modern day teens, that the movie was set in 2015, but modern day teens get sucked into an old slasher movie and try to rewrite the rules. Why does it stand out? It blends grief, horror, and humor very well. It flips the tropes on their head while still respecting them. And it shows the power of the final girl in a very literal way. One question that I want you to answer, camper, so you could drop your answers in the comments below, is if you were dropped into a summer camp slasher, how would you survive? This movie here, Fear Street Part 2, 1978, it is a newer edition, but it's got a very vintage vibe to it. It channels that summer camp vibe hard. It's basically like if Friday the 13th and Stranger Things had a baby and then just splattered blood all over everything. Then you get Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Now, why does this newer movie belong on the elective extra credit list? You got an axe-wielding killer in a burlap sack. Sound familiar? Iconic. It blends the modern pacing of the horror movie with the old school horror movie style. And there is queer representation, emotional stakes, and a final girl that is definitely worth rooting for. What is the lesson that you can take away from this, campers? It is that slashers evolve, but whatever is out there in the woods watching you remains the same. This movie, Madman, is a definite underrated campfire legend summer camp movie. If you say Madman Mars' name, it's over for you. You are going to die. It is gritty and atmospheric as hell. Why is this movie creepy, campers? You have a killer who is basically a folktale brought to life. There are foggy woods, slow pacing, and a feeling that you're being watched. And it feels like a story that if you were a younger sibling, it feels like a story that your older sibling would tell you just to mess with you. What is there to learn from this movie, campers? If you say his name, you pay the price. Oh, and by the way, campers, if you want to dive deep into summer camp horror slashers, I made a full summer camp horror homework pack. It's got movie trivia, movie breakdowns, final exam questions, and even a Mad Lib called One Night at Camp Terrorific. And a lot more. There is a free version if you just want to dip your toes into the lake, but there are camp counselor kits and final girl and final boy kits for people who just want to go all in. I will provide the link in the description, so be sure to bring your printer, your pen or pencil, and maybe even your defensive weapon of choice. So, why do summer camp movies work? Because summer is supposed to be fun. Freedom, no school, fun, first kisses, midnight swims, and horror just takes all of that, subverts it, flips it on its head, adds a killer in the woods or at camp. It turns the aesthetic of summer horror, which is steeped in nostalgia, it turns it into fear. All right, campers, class is dismissed. But if you survive this lesson, tell me, what summer camp horror slasher, whether it is talked about in this video or not, do you think hits the hardest? Reply in the comments below, download your summer camp horror homework pack, and check out some more videos if you want to keep the learning going. I'll see you next time.